Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to Monday Sucks. I am Jack, and today I'm here alone. If you're here and you're joining us, remember we are here every Monday on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, even. So if you're here, welcome to the party. Today is going to be a very good day because every time we have a guest, it's always a good time. So if you're here, make sure you actually send a thumbs up, comment, share with your friends so they can come and learn more about what we are offering. Like every Monday is about just resetting your week, and hopefully by the time we are done with you, your Monday will suck less than what it is. We're gonna drink some good whiskey, and hopefully that will set our mood the right way. But I always love episode where we are learning something and we are giving people something that is not ordinary to them. Today we are traveling to Texas. To actually know more about a whiskey that is done in Texas, know about a distillery that is doing something very out of the ordinary, something so different that you almost have to know more. You have to pay attention. So if you hear cheers, grab a drink. We are talking about Milam and Greene, right? Milam and Greene was introduced to me by actually my friend and sister, um, Wendy, who told me this distillery is something you have to look at. It's distillery is something you have to check out. And the people that work at that distillery don't have a small resume. They have a serious, serious resume. Today, we are going to talk to Marlene, Marlene Holmes, the master distiller. So she's the one who truly makes the whiskey come to life. Marlene joined Provision Spirit to help create it and launch Milam and Greene. In her role as master distiller, Marlene oversees all the distillery aging, blending, batching, proofing and sourcing. Whatever it is that need to be done, she is out there doing it. She obviously have her background in the whiskey industry. She obviously from Kentucky. But today I want to bring her on so we can know more about her. We can know what she's doing. And if you hear, like I said, make sure you actually click like and share. If you're on Facebook, make sure you give us a thumbs up that you're here. Usually we are on Instagram, but we are not today, so it's all happening on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you actually join in and comment. So let me bring Marlene on and we can have her and chat a little bit about the whiskey and what she has to offer. What's up, Marlene?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing well.
Is You're in Texas, so I'm assuming we both are on Central Time. So I'm not
That's right.
having you be up too late. Sometimes I have to interview people and they're like in a whole different time zone and they're like, everybody's sleeping right now, so I have to be
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad to catch you. So Marlene, tell the people who you are. I've introduced you a little bit, but I want them to hear it directly from you. Who are you, Marlene?
Well, Marlene Holmes. I go by MK Holmes, and there's a reason behind that.
Okay.
But anyway, I am from Kentucky. Lived there up until about 4 years ago, and worked with one of the larger distilleries there in Kentucky. And Retired there and met the good folks here in Austin, Texas, and spent a few days with them and decided to come to work down here. So I'm the distiller, master distiller for Milam and Greene. And yeah, I've been here actually, it'd be 4 years here in just a few weeks. And
Wow.
so we have a very small operation, but we're growing in leaps and bounds and just having we have a great team and having a great time making some whiskey and some bourbon for folks to enjoy.
No, absolutely. So, how long before you came out of retirement were you in the whiskey industry? How long have you worked there before you
uh,
came to the
yeah,
distillery?
before I come to Texas, 27 years.
Ooh. That's
Yeah,
a solid resume there.
yeah. So started back in 1990, and learned from what I call the old timers. Before there was a lot of automation, and
Hmm.
so yeah, followed around like the little sister. One of the guys one time told me, he said, every time I turn around, you're behind me. Asking questions, taking notes, and what have you. So yeah, I learned from some of the old timers in the business.
That's the best way to learn, right? You were there, you seen the people do what they do, and obviously you took that experience. So tell us about Million and Green. What is it? I heard, like when I posted about it, I heard a lot of people say it's almost like people know about y'all, but they don't really know about y'all. So
Yeah,
it's like I heard about that. They're in Texas, right?
yeah.
Or I heard about that. So it's something that you guys are like the mystery child of whiskey. So what is it? What did the idea came about? I don't want to speculate on what I heard, so I want to hear it straight from you on what exactly is it that you guys do there, right? As
Yeah,
a distillery. So what is that? What How did that distillery come about? And
yeah,
obviously 4 years now, well, 5 years probably is what the
yeah,
distillery is going. So
yeah. Actually, in March, this past March was 5 years for us, and so it all started with Marsha Milam, and that's the Milam on the label. And Marsha was in the music business. Started the Austin Film Festival. Was in the music business here in Austin for many years, and decided went up to Kentucky, did the Bourbon Trail, and decided she wanted to get into the spirits business. And so we started out 5 years ago, actually, as Ben Milam. Uh,
mm,
Ben Milam was a from Frankfort, Kentucky. He was a hero here in Texas. He helped Texas fight for its independence, and so it's a distant relation to Marcia. So that's where the name originally come from. And then one book that Marcia read was Whiskey Distilled,
hmm.
and that's Heather Greene's book.
Heather Green. She's
Yeah,
she we I think we all learned from Heather Green.
yeah,
Like I said, my sister Wendy is obsessed with Heather Green.
yeah.
Uh, the first when she started getting into whiskey, you know, she thought I was having Heather on, so she was freaking. I'm like, no, 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 come on, it's Marlene, it's Marlene,
Yeah,
and she talked about how every time she just like an annoying sister. Every time she asked me about a whiskey, I'm like, go study it, just go read, here. And after she read that book, now her
yeah,
way of actually describing whiskey got better. But continue.
yeah. And that's exactly, with Marsha. That was the first book on whiskey and bourbon that Marsha read, and so she got into the whiskey business, and by mutual acquaintance, I come into the picture a little less than a year after they were up and running, and had the good fortune to come down, spend the weekend. Actually, it was Easter weekend that I come
So
down,
about four
and
years now, yeah.
yeah, and so just had a great time. Marsha, I tell you, we heard a lot of live music in Austin, had a lot of good food. We come out to the distillery, met the folks out here, and I just fell in love with the place right off the bat. And so I went back to Kentucky, put my farm up for sale, and loaded my truck and my dogs and headed to Blanco, Texas. And so and then that first summer I was down here, Heather. I was introduced to Heather. I had
Mhm.
already knew who she was, had heard her name. I'd never met her. She come down and kind of started some consulting with us. And I tell you, she come on board, and it's been all uphill from there. She's assembled, her and Marcia together have assembled a great team here for making bourbon. And so that's pretty much Milam and Greene. We You can see one of the smaller pot stills behind me.
Yes.
that's what we started out making bourbon on, was a 300-gallon pot still. Now we've just recently in the last few months acquired 1,000-gallon pot still. So the
Okay.
production as far as filling barrels is going to go up uh, quite significantly for us, and growing in leaps and bounds. It's a fun time.
Absolutely. So what did you guys started? So I'm assuming so we have so that means the speculation that I heard was right. Um, is woman powered run distillery. That's what I heard. Is if you want a distillery that was ran by women, you want to stop at Marlene and Greene. You guys are the epitome of what empowerment should look like because you have obviously Marsha, you have Heather, and you have you, right? You're the three kind of running it. So I'm assuming your team is quite diverse as well, right?
Uh, yeah, it is, but we didn't start out to be, a female run. It wasn't a planned thing. It just kind of happened, when we've needed folks. Myself, I was a piece of the puzzle. Heather was a piece of the puzzle. We've got a really good team. Got some veteran people in some key positions as far as sales, finance,
Mm-hmm.
marketing, and what have you. So got a lot of veterans on this team, and that it is a lot of women, but we don't really look at ourselves as a women-owned, women-driven
Mm-hmm.
company. We love to make bourbon, and we love to drink bourbon. So that
It just so happened that
it just
women are
happened.
behind it,
Yeah,
right? So you are talking about production. So tell me a little bit about the process that you guys use to make your bourbon. Because the two bottles I have here obviously is a straight rye whiskey that was finished in a port cask,
yeah.
and here I believe I have here a triple cask blend of straight bourbon. So tell me about the your bourbon. Is it source? Is it partially sourced and straight made? What are you guys producing right now?
Yeah. It's all the above, and we're very transparent about what we do and how we do things. We take a lot of pride in what we do, so we kind of embrace everything out there that's available to us. I think that's a something a little different that a lot of distilleries they don't do, but we do. We source whiskey. We make whiskey here in our pot stills. I go to Kentucky twice a year and make
Okay.
and make bourbon with the guys there in Bardstown on a column still. So
Okay.
we've got column stilled bourbon. We've got pot stilled bourbon. We source whiskey. Speaking of that port rye that you've got, I tell people when it comes through the gate, when it comes through our gate, that rye whiskey, that's Indiana whiskey.
Okay.
When it goes out that gate, that's Milam and Greene uh,
Okay.
rye finished in a port barrel. It has our character, our personality about it. It's a totally different product. Yeah, so yeah, we just embrace a lot of different things out there and take advantage of what's there to put a good product in a bottle. Basically, it's what it comes down to.
Okay. I so what would you say the percentage of source versus what y'all make is?
Yeah, so our whiskey is a sweet mash that we
Okay.
make here in our pot still, and actually up in Kentucky too. It's a sweet mash.
Okay.
We take all our ingredients, our same yeast that we use here at home, and take to Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
and then we've got some Tennessee whiskey, we've got some Kentucky whiskey, we've got some Indiana whiskey, and we just Heather works her magic, basically
Mm-hmm.
marrying those different bourbons and whiskeys together. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the triple cask.
Mm-hmm.
That has our whiskey in it. That's the young age. That's three different aged whiskeys in that product. So that has our
Okay.
pot stilled whiskey here from Texas. It has some Tennessee whiskey in it and has some Kentucky whiskey in it.
Absolutely. So okay. Okay. So But right now, you guys are. I'm assuming you just now moving to major production, right? As far as getting a new pot still there, so you guys are moving. You will be seeing more and more of your in-house product than actually the source one.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the plan. We've spent the last 2.5, 3 years, just bulking our inventory up on our 300-gallon pot still, and we realized pretty quickly we was going to have to do something different. So uh, we'll get this have this bigger pot. We can lay down. Actually, we were doing about 2 barrels a week. Now we'll be able to do about 8 barrels a week. So.
And
Yeah,
that's one thing I wanted to bring to people's attention is that when you start a whiskey business, most of the time you if you have to sustain the business, you pretty much almost have to source some of your whiskey if the product need to go out there and still producing some of your product, because we know whiskey need time to age. So uh, by the time you guys lay the barrel, we at least sitting on at least, I mean, this is Texas heat. So I would say at least 2 years, 2 years, you guys will probably have some whiskey radio, or, to push out there. And yeah, that takes time while you guys are trying to push things through and make sure that you're sustaining your brand. So I can understand that. I can't wait for y'all to actually release your own 100% juice. That would be interesting
yeah, yeah.
for you guys to release that. So you do a sweet mash. Is it more corn, more rye forward? What do you work on usually?
Y- Yeah, that mash bill is 70% corn, so
Okay.
it's heavy on the corn side, and then 22 on the rye.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's the mash bill that we've stuck with primarily down here. And but going back, that's a great thing about having a master blender with us. Our whiskey was ready to marry with some other aged whiskeys at 2 years
Mhm.
old, and that's what we've been doing now. We've been doing that for 2 years now, and it's worked really well for us. And we do have a distillery edition that we
Mhm.
put out that is 100%
Oh,
Texas product made here in
okay.
our pot still. Yeah, so yeah, we put out a batch last year, and well, actually, batch three will be coming out pretty soon,
Okay.
later on this year. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. That's congratulations, because if you guys already putting out your own product, so obviously you are getting there. You're slowly getting there, and it will be for the masses soon. While we talking about you, I think I'm ready to taste this triple cask. Tell me a little bit about the triple cask that you guys have. What is behind it?
yeah, that was a lot of fun on that label. Like I said earlier, that Heather come down the first summer I was here, and that was a blending class that we worked on with her while
Mhm,
she was consulting with us. And so that's got our whiskey in it, our 2 year old pot stilled whiskey. That's
mhm.
the one that I kind of refer to as the juvenile of the bunch. Uh, you taste that rye, that young rye 2 year old whiskey,
Mhm,
in that product, and then you've got a 4 year old, and then it's married up as well with a 12 year old Tennessee whiskey. So,
mhm.
and then we elected to go at 24 or 94 proof with that, so it
What
holds really
what why
well.
why the 94 proof? Because I
What's
realized
that?
that there's 47, yep,
Yeah.
47% ABV, and same thing on the rise, 47. Are most of your juice 47% ABV, or are they?
Yeah, it is. Those two are at 47, and then we do have a single barrel
Okay.
that we have out as well, and that's at 86. But we wanted these other two, the port rye and the triple cask, to not only be a great, good quality sipping whiskey, but something folks wanted a cocktail. It would mix up really well in a cocktail. And then our distillery edition, now that comes out at barrel proof.
Okay. So
I think the
that's the
last,
one I should be looking forward to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that one come out. I think the last one we had last year was around, I think, a 117, a
Okay.
115, 117 cast string.
Oh, that I like the sound of that. Yeah, that's pretty much how I like my whiskey. I like my whiskey at cast strength. So it's that's that's my favorite my whiskey. But I like to enjoy my whiskey more. That 47 definitely is a good place. On the nose here, the corn is very prevalent. The me I always refer to corn as creamy. When something
Creamy.
is very creamy on the nose, for me is that I get those are corn flavor.
Right.
For me, being from West Africa, we eat a lot of cornmeal, so that creaminess from cooking your corn
That's right.
is what you get
Yeah.
on the nose. So
Yeah, and and it's the same way. Talking about that, our mash. When we cook that up and finish with it before we transfer it over into our fermenter, it you could eat it just as it is.
mm,
It's got such a great sweet flavor to it, very creamy flavor to it. The old saying is, if you put crap in a barrel, you're going to get crap out of a barrel. So
absolutely,
it
absolutely.
starts it starts with that mash bill, and the processes you go through right off the bat.
Okay, very very light. Doesn't so very surprising the fact that I have a preconceived notion on Texas whiskey, right? Because Texas whiskey is almost bold and very sharp on the tongue and mid palate just aggressive. But this here is very citrusy, very light, almost very enjoyable summer summer breeze.
Yeah,
What you
nice.
get is corn on the nose, vanilla notes. You don't even get any of the oak coming through at all. Just a little bit of that baking spice,
Yeah,
but very just corn, vanilla corn, just very, very creamy on the
yeah.
nose and fruity, obviously, with
But
some
to
light
me,
sherry nose.
you can taste all three of those aged whiskeys in that. You get a little of that spicy green taste maybe out of the young whiskey. A little few of those sweet notes out of that middle age, that 4 to 5 year old
Hmm.
bourbon that's in there, and then that older whiskey kind of gives it a little bit of authority, a
At the end of
foundation.
at the end of that palate, yep.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
on that finish there, you get a little more of that maturity, that oaky ness comes through there. But on the front, it's very light, stone fruit, some citrus notes, and very pleasant. Goes down beautifully. No hug, just a little warmth that you get. Probably much more enjoyable on days you really don't want anything aggressive. This whiskey
yeah,
definitely is
yeah. And,
very
and we and
approachable.
we bill all of our labels, as really good sipping whiskeys.
Hmm.
If you want to just take them neat, they work really well. Add a little water or an ice cube, they hold up fantastic, and as well in a cocktail. They will shine through very nicely in a cocktail as well.
I definitely will call this a conversation whiskey. Like I can dump this in a decanter and keep in the office while you're having a conversation because it's just a nice conversation whiskey. Um, so it's I love when there's intentionality when people are making their whiskey, right? Because obviously we know that most people are looking for bolder flavors and jumping on, but when somebody say I made you a sipping whiskey, you expect it to actually take you back, and that's really how I felt. It took me back, like because when someone tell me Texas whiskey, I'm used to the regular name of Texas whiskey. Very dark, bold flavors, almost sometimes unbearable. But good lord,
Yeah.
this is fun.
Yeah, yeah. Texas
This is.
definitely has its own style.
Mm-hmm.
It does. You know, there's a lot of good distillers in this state that are doing a great job, and it definitely has its own style. That's for sure. You know, the aging, the
Mm-hmm.
climate plays into that.
Yeah. Would you say Austin climate is the same as is an advantage to your barrels and how they're aging?
I do. You know, we've got a lot of swing in our temperatures here. Sometime, you know, 20, 25, 30 degree swing from the daytime temperatures to nighttime. And so there's a lot of action going on in those barrels. You know, I think it lends to that different style that we have. You know, it's a little more. It gets hot here in the summertime, but I think the climate is definitely different than what it would be in Houston or what it
Mm-hmm.
would be in the Dallas area. So it kind of has a little different climate here. And then I'm a distiller, so you know the wood plays into it, but there's a lot that had to be said about the yeast and the fermentation and your mash bill
Absolutely.
and what have you
Mm-hmm.
that plays into that final flavor as well.
And I just tasted the triple cask. Let me get some lights away from it. But this triple cask is very, very approachable. Like I would serve this at a party for sure. Um, it's I'm actually very thrown back and impressed by it. It's how light it is. It's I mean, it's do you know what's the price point on this whiskey? What the
That one,
average price point is on the
yeah, I
triple
think
cask?
that one is somewhere around like 47, 45, 48,
That's a winner. That's a winner
45 to
all day.
50 bucks, something
That's a winner
around
all
that.
day.
Yeah,
You can't go wrong with that one. That's a winner all
yeah,
day. That's a winner all day. At a 40 some dollar price, that's a winner all day. You you want a whiskey that you can relax with, sit on a porch, watch the kids, and just sip on something. This
yeah.
is it.
That one has
This is it.
shined very nicely for us. I think it was last year that it won a double gold for us.
Yeah.
Maybe the year before last, a double gold at San Francisco, and its wine enthusiast has given it some high ratings. So uh, you know, we have got a really good crew here that we work with
Hmm.
that are very passionate about what we do and how we do it, and so that's the name of the game is to
Yep.
put out a good product, you know, for folks
That
to
is true.
enjoy.
That is true. So we have this rye here, which I'm very curious about because rye in a port cask is a risk. I like to say it's like getting a certain haircut. You may look good or you may be just a disaster. So so when anytime I see anybody do a whiskey and there's a rye in finishing a certain cask, I go, oh, I don't know about this. I
Yeah,
don't know about this. I'm gonna approach this with some caution.
yeah,
So I saw this, and that's what I was looking forward to try. I say a rye and in a port barrel, two of my favorite things, right? A nice rye, and I love port wine. So
yeah.
because I just love port wine, I say, okay, from the color, I can tell. Is it 100% rye or what's the?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. And you know, that one is pretty much started out as an experiment for us. We had, I think it was 4 barrels we had originally brought in, tawny port barrels.
Hmm.
And we're like, you know, well, let's try the rye in these tawny barrels and see what happens. And it moved rather quickly. In about 6 or 7 weeks, that first fill, you know, you could really taste that port shining through, and so we dumped them pretty quick, and it's been huge for us. Now we went from 4 barrels to 60 barrels of
Wow.
tawny port that we have
Okay.
coming in. So yeah, it is it's off the charts for us.
And it's a rye.
That's right.
Is it
Yes, it
hundred
is.
percent? Is it 100% rye on the mash bill?
95.
95.5. Okay.
95. Yeah.
95.5 on the mash bill. Aging. So you say about what? You say about 4 months, four, three, six, 4 or 5 months on the
Yeah,
aging.
well, that depends on how fresh those barrels are. First fill on those barrels is generally just a couple of months, and then and we try to use them, at least 3 times anyway. So second time it'll be about 4 to 6 months, and then the third fill on them will be well over 6 months before we can
Okay.
dump them. But it moves pretty quick, and we baby our barrels. I go down on a pretty regular basis. As a matter of fact, me and a couple of other our distillers was down in the rick house this morning, and we're pulling some samples out of the ports to see what was ready to be dumped. So we keep a pretty close eye on them.
Okay. We need to talk.
Hmm.
I don't understand what you guys do to your whiskey, but something in your whiskey is like a lullaby.
Cool.
It's like a lullaby. That's how I feel when I'm having your whiskey. It's like somebody singing a lullaby to you. It's like it's familiar, is coming, is is it's comforting, but yet is new enough for you to pay attention. That's the best way to describe the whiskey. It's like
Nice.
a lullaby. It's I know it sounds weird, but that's the if somebody asked me today, how do you feel about Milam and Greene? I'll be like, oh, those people just make a lullaby in a bottle. That's all they do. Okay, take you back to it brings memories, right? 95.5 rye tend to be, and I don't know, maybe the magic number is the proof you choose, is the that 47% ABV, but I'm thrown off. I'm
Yeah.
100% thrown off by this because I'm tasting this whiskey and I'm like, why is this so calm?
Yeah.
Rye's supposed to give me that spice. Nope, it's giving me a tingle.
Yeah.
Port
It.
cap supposed to give me a little bit of those very bright, red fruit. No, it's giving me just a light, sunny,
Yeah.
almost like a red apple versus actually just those dark cherry notes. So
Yeah.
something about the whiskey is very, very almost like you guys take it back, like, oh, you're aggressive, but come here. Let me calm you down with this lullaby before we put you in a bottle. So explain the process. Do you proof it down before it goes in the barrel, or do you put it in the barrel, let it age, and then proof it down? How do you
Yeah.
guys go about it?
Yeah, no, we that rye comes in somewhere generally around 115 to 120 proof, and we generally blend about 6 barrels of that rye together, so we've got consistency in that rye taste, and yeah, and we fill those port barrels and bung them up and set them in the rick house and just kind of let them do their thing. Like I said, we baby them. We go down about every 2 or 3 weeks, pull samples, keep a pretty close eye on them. But
Hmm.
I think the rye and the tawny port or the port barrels just they complement one another. And so, we get them at that right time in the aging process or the finishing process to where they're just, they're, and it's all by taste. Everything we do in our distillery is by taste. Our mash, we taste our mash, we taste our beer, we taste our distillate. Every barrel we dump, we taste before we dump it, and if it doesn't meet our satisfaction, then we put the bung back in it and put it back in the rick house and do something different with it. So everything's done by taste.
So obviously we got you, the master distiller. So is Heather, 100% involved into this, in the tasting as well? Tell me a little
Absolutely.
bit about how you guys taste, how you pick those barrels to actually go in a bottle.
Yeah.
Tell
So
me a little bit process?
Yeah, we started out, right from the get go. Like I said, those 4 barrels originally, those tawny port barrels 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, was just an experiment. And we put that rye whiskey in, and it was about 6 or 7 weeks. I went down and pulled some samples out of them and tasted it, and I was like, wow, you know, this is ready to go. And everything we had read about it, it would take months, maybe even a year or
And
so.
that's what I'm saying is when you were
Uh,
talking, I
yeah,
said, "Oh, how many months? 4, 5, 6 months?" And you're like,
yeah,
"No, it's just a matter of weeks." And I
it
was surprised
yeah,
by that.
yeah. And so I called Heather, and I'm like, Heather, man, you got to come and taste this rye whiskey in the port. I said, I'm pretty sure that it's ready to dump. And she's like, are you serious? So here she comes. We pull samples, and she agreed. So we had a standard that we set, right off the bat as to what we were looking for, and so that's what guides us through tasting these barrels to this day, is that standard of just that particular taste, enough port that it kind of rounds that rye out a little bit, kind of softens it just a
Mhm.
little, but not too much.
I
And
don't. I won't even say just a little. I think he turned it from a temperamental distillate to a really enjoyable distillate. Because how old is this rye before you guys put in those barrels? What
that's 3 to 4 years old.
Okay. So 95
3 to 4 years.
rye, 3 to 4 years old, you put in the barrel. I
Yeah,
mean, you expect a little bit of kick to it, a little, you know, kick back, but no. This is, like I say, I don't know how to explain this. The best way for me to explain this is just like a lullaby. You don't hear it often, but when you hear it, you perk up right away. You know what it is. It's very familiar and not. I mean,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful
We
notes.
have so many people. We've got a tasting room here at our distillery,
I
and
need to stop by. I need to come see y'all.
you need to come. You do. You need to come see us. We're in Blanco, a beautiful part of Hill Country. It's right in between Austin and San Antonio, but it's just Blanco's a lovely small rural town. That sits in Hill Country, and it's gorgeous out here. That was another thing that sold me on coming to Texas was the area, hill country. But we have a lot of people. My office sits right next to the tasting room, so I hear a lot of the chatter and the conversation that goes on there. And we have a lot of people that come in and do flights. We'll do our flights. And I'll hear comments like, "Yeah, I'm not really a rye person. I'm not a big rye whiskey person." But when they taste our port rye, more often than not, they change their line of thought about rye whiskey.
I will tell you right now, if I was not a rye lover, if I didn't like rye, y'all will have just convinced me to drink some rye because
Nice.
it has enough, just enough of everything to keep you interested. Just enough of everything. Like I'm confused right now. Having this rye is I'm confused. That's the best way to put it. I'm
Yeah.
I'm confused. I don't know how to take this. It's weird because
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been in the industry for a while. I taste a while, but it has things I want, like those lavender, almost floral note that I want in a rye, but not too much. It has the sweetness I need from a whiskey, but not too much. It's almost like you have a little bit of everything that you need to kind of get you in and just get you interested. So I think this is gonna be one of the whiskeys that I will send in a blind tasting to my Patreon and people that follow me, just to see if people can guess that not only it is a rye, right? To guess it,
Right.
but to see if
Yeah.
they can tell that it was a podcast. Because I don't. If you gave me this blind and you did not tell me what it was,
You wouldn't guess it.
I couldn't have guessed that it is a rye,
Yeah.
even a rye to begin with.
Yeah,
And that is,
that one won a real nice award for us last summer. The American Craft Spirits Association. We entered that along with the Triple Cast and a couple other labels into the competition there last June actually, and it was voted best in show and best in category, and it was just and it was just it was we were surprised as a group, but then again we were after a while we weren't surprised because we think it is a really good product. Like I said, at the end of the day, for us it's all about what we put in a bottle for people to enjoy. And when you work with people like Heather that has the palette that she has, and was just it's amazing. And we're bringing the folks up, the young folks in the business up, training them the same along the same lines that to taste and to nose like we are. And but it was a bit of a surprise, but it was such an honor.
it
uh,
is, it
that
is. I
Yeah,
know. I'm looking. I'm tasting this, and you got me perplexed.
yeah, cool. That's
Now
all right.
I'm very curious about what other expression you guys have out of the distillery that will make me start thinking. So which one, what other expressions should people expect? So obviously the triple cask and the rye. What else do you guys put out on the thing? I think I've seen you here, and if I'm correct, I've seen it here with a white label. Which one is that?
Yeah, now that would be that one more than likely is our single barrel.
Okay,
So that's been one of our flagship labels from the very beginning. But now that I look at that one a little closer, actually, if you look at the neck right below the cap, there's a
correct,
Texas Whiskey Association label on that. So that's
correct.
our distillery edition there.
Okay,
Uh, that might have been the one that come out. That's more likely the one that come out last year. I think it was around 114, 115 proof.
okay.
And yeah, so there's the finishing touches
Yeah,
on the
there's you
barrel.
sign in the barrel there. Yeah.
Yeah, ID in a barrel. But yeah, that's exactly what that is. So that's all 100% pot still bourbon that we make here in our pot still here at Black
And that
Mountain.
come at barrel proof, you said?
Yeah, yeah. We is what we've done there, Jack. Is we take several barrels, generally anywhere from about 8 to 10 or 12 barrels.
Mm-hmm.
We line them up in the rick house, and we taste each one of them. And then we end up going with generally somewhere around 7 or 8 barrels to just marry together,
Mm-hmm.
and then we do a blind taste on them. As far as the proof, we try different proofs. Bring it down to 105, 110, 90, 95, and we just always seem to go back to that cast strength that we like the best.
Must be nice to have a master blender and a master distiller in the same house working together, because it just give you amazing taste out of this thing. So what are you looking forward to? What are you looking forward to really in the next year or two for Million and Green as you're working there and you've been the master distiller? You know, you have a bigger still right now, so I'm assuming you're excited
Yeah,
to actually do more. So what are you looking forward to?
yeah. Yeah, we've got a couple of special releases that are coming out. We've got one that'll be out here in the next couple of months. It's an older whiskey. Actually, we did a batch last year. It was our Castle Hill series, and we've got a second batch of that coming out. And it is so nice. It comes out at cast strength also, but it's a 13-year-old whiskey. But now we've got our third edition of our distillery edition that'll be out later this summer. That'll be at cast strength as well. Well, I say that. The last two have been cast strength. We'll wait and see on this one. We'll wait and see what we like best taste wise. And then we've got something really cool that's going to come out, and it won't come out until probably Thanksgiving. It'll be out right at the end of the year, and you know, like I said, we do things a little different. We kind of wrap our arms around everything that's available to us. And as far as I know, we are one of very few, if not the only, distillery in the country that actually makes whiskey in two different locations and ages whiskey in two different locations. And so, we've got something that is really fun that we're gonna come up with at the end of the year for folks that I think will be very exciting, very interesting. And that's about all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
I don't want to give anything away on it, but I think people will be very pleasantly surprised what's coming their way from us toward the end of the year.
And I put there, I just put the website to check out Million Green, whiskey.com. That's the website to actually check it out and see, keep an update on things that are coming out of the distillery. It is important for you guys to know that you can actually make sure you subscribe and make sure that you keep an eye so you can actually know exactly the good things that are coming out of the distillery, so you can what do you call it, you can you can pretty much be uh there when the new, or the quote unquote new, bourbon and new series come out, so you're aware of it. Because for me, I always go to and I'm getting on the website right now myself to make sure I subscribe and make sure that I don't miss anything.
Yeah,
On
yeah, we've got a newsletter, and
Yeah,
that's a great way, to keep up with what's going on with us outside of Instagram and Facebook and what have you. That
yeah,
newsletter has a lot. I think it comes out every once a month or a couple of times a month, maybe, on our newsletter.
yeah. So people are looking forward to it. Whiskey Fancy said we are keeping our eyes open for that Castle Hill release. I'm assuming it's something amazing, and like, I love
Yeah,
when something new comes out. So keep us in mind if you need us to actually review it, talk to the folks about it before it
correct.
comes out. We'll be more
Yeah,
than happy to talk about it
that would
and
be
make
great.
sure people know what's coming up. Uh, Now we know what you're looking forward to. So I have to say, where do you? I'm gonna ask you the question every kid is asking in high school. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Right? They ask you a good business plan question. Going, where do you see yourself in 5 years as a master distiller? Where do you want? What do you want to see more of
Yeah,
as
well,
you're doing what you're doing?
yeah, well, I can tell you, I see a little bit of my time laying on a beach drinking some really good bourbon
Mm-hmm.
in 5 years. That's for sure. But yeah, we like I said, you know it's it's all about our team here. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
we've put together a really great group of folks, uh, and folks that are almost geeky and passionate, very passionate about what we do, and so we look to just continue to making a good product. We've got procedures in place that, like I said, we taste everything that we do here. It's all hands on. We have very very little automation in our
Mm-hmm.
facility, so it's all hands on. But our goal is to compete, with the bourbons that are coming out and the whiskeys that are coming out of Kentucky and Tennessee and Indiana. That's
Yep.
what we're in the business to do. Is
Yep.
and So just to continue to keep putting out good products and
And
have
you
some special
definitely are doing it.
releases
Yep.
occasionally. Something special to offer folks a couple of times a year as well.
Absolutely. So this I will tell you right now. Put the website down. We're not gonna bore Marlene with trying to get her to give you more insight. I think if you need something, you have to go to the source. Go to the website. Make sure you follow them on Instagram, and make sure you get on the newsletter so you're aware of what's coming out of it. And if you actually are going through Texas, make sure you stop by the distillery. That's what you want to do. I always love coming to the distillery, um, or to distilleries to really learn more about what's happening. You can describe it as much as you want, but living it is something very, very special. But you can come on Monday Sucks and not answer this question that we ask everybody. All our guests have to answer this lifetime question. Okay, it could be something you heard from your parents, your grandparents, your motivational speaker, your guru, whatever, whomever inspires in your life, the Bible, the Quran, whatever it is that you study. We call this segment advice that does not suck. Okay, so this is the one advice you will give people that can help them with their week, their month, or what one advice, life advice that you have that you can give people to go home with and think about, or something that helped you through your own life that you always refer to, that you tell your kids, your husband, your family members, whomever. So this is your time to give one advice that does not suck.
Yeah, I guess that would have to be don't sweat the little stuff. You know that, and that might sound pretty generic, but don't sweat the little things. Life's too short. Enjoy each day, and just do the best that you can do. But don't sweat the little things that really don't end up amounting to a whole lot, and just try to enjoy each day as it's given to you.
You
It
know what?
moves by pretty quick.
I'm gonna put it here. Marlene told you, don't sweat the little
Sweat the little
things.
things.
Don't
Yeah,
sweat the little things. She just told you, do not sweat the little things.
yeah,
That's one advice that definitely does not suck on this Monday suck. Don't sweat the little things. Take your time, enjoy each day as the heavenly God gave it to you, and don't sweat
yeah,
the little stuff. So that
it,
is really that's
yeah.
really good advice.
It's kind of like bourbon. You make whiskey, you make bourbon, you put it in a barrel, and then you put it in a rick house, and you let it set, and you let it do its thing, and you can't rush it.
You can't.
That's one of the things Marcia, when she went to Kentucky and did the Bourbon Trail before she started the distilleries, that it was like all this whiskey is sitting there and it's just taking its time,
Hmm.
doing its thing. And so that falls in line a little bit with that too. Don't sweat the little things, and
Don't sweat the little things.
yeah.
You know what? Even I needed to hear that. Even I needed to hear that. Don't sweat the little things. If you guys have any question for Marlene, this is your opportunity to ask any question in the comments. Obviously, a lot of people love your juice. They are saying we again, yep, not great advice, but Million Greene is doing great stuff. People love what you guys are producing, and I'm thoroughly impressed by what you guys are doing. But this is your opportunity to ask Marlene any question. We give you a couple minutes to ask your question. I told Marlene I'm not gonna keep her longer than I need to. She's here in answer your question and out. So I want to leave a little bit of suspense for you guys to go dig and find more things about Million and
Yeah,
Green, so you can actually uh, go. But I'm planning on it. I want to come visit the distillery with the
absolutely.
taste.
Please do. And we're we're growing really fast. We've got our launch in Kentucky
Hmm.
coming up in June, and we've got, I think, Maryland and Washington State. So that'll put us at about 20 states we're available in.
I
Uh,
which I forgot to ask. So, what the distribution looks like? Somebody
yeah,
say I'm definitely picking up some next time I'm in Chicago.
yeah, yeah.
Where are you guys
Benny's up there.
distributing?
Yeah, in Chicago, Benny's.
Benny's, okay.
That's Marcia visits up there quite often. But yeah, we by the end of the year we'll be available in about 20 states.
Okay.
I think right now it's 14 or 15 states.
Okay.
Canada, we
Okay.
just, yeah, so we just made our first shipment to Alberta, Canada. last month, so we're available there. So just just growing in leaps and bounds, and it's been fantastic for us to see. The first year we were in business, I think we sold about 3,200 cases.
Hmm.
This year, we're slotted to send out about 30,000.
Wow.
So, and that's in 5 years' time. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's been pretty amazing.
that's a nice growth right there.
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, people are happy to grab the juice, but I wanted to remind everybody, if you don't know about Million and Green, you want to do so. I'm looking forward to that single barrel or that barrel cask strength, because if the juice at this point is getting me all riled up and thinking all about it in my head right now, I want to know what it tastes like at cask strength, and I can't wait to come visit the distillery. And if you guys are around again, this she gave you her advice that does not suck, but I will definitely say you want to check out the distillery. You want to check out exactly what is happening there, so you know exactly what they have. This is the website. I'll make sure I put it in a comment so you know as well. Get on their newsletter so you know more about the distillery. I had a chance today to try two of actually very impressive the triple cask bourbon here, and obviously their rye aged in a port cask, which will make me actually give up on another rye that get aged in a port cask that I'm not gonna like anymore because Marlene ruined it for me. I'm actually like Millen and Green now, and let me see. There's one question that came through that said, "Do you plan to age anything in use oak or barrel different than oak?" So,
Yeah, we've got some used barrels that we have some distillate in. It'll be considered an American whiskey, but we've got some that's about 2 years old. And other than the tawny port or doing some kind of Madeira or something like that, right now. That's pretty much the extent of it. That's keeping us busy. That's keeping us pretty busy right now. Later on down the road, we may venture out into different things, but right now we're just going to kind of stick with the game plan we've got. We're still growing pretty rapidly, and it's keeping us busy what we're doing with our flagships right now.
okay, you heard it from her. She told y'all. So, Marlene, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. You are not part of my hood. You're not part of our house. You feel free to come here anytime if there's anything that is coming out and that you actually want to talk about. Don't hesitate. Come on, let's talk about it. And
Nice.
you can come here anytime. This is your house now. So if there's
Okay.
something, any new thing coming up, and you need us to talk about it, we'll be here. We'll talk about it. But this was uh, this was Monday Sucks, and is easy breezy, beautiful, and very very short and very to the point, so we can get the people what they want. Remember,
Nice.
we are here every Monday at 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we love people, but most of all, we love whiskey.
We
So,
love whiskey. Well, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. This is the part of the job that I love as much as any part of it. That's being able to talk to folks like you, and share what I know and about a good product. So
no, absolutely.
it's always fun. Thank
It
you so
was
much.
all my pleasure, and I
Yes,
appreciate you
sir.
being here. And I cannot wait to have you back. If anything is out, remember this is your house now. You can come and visit anytime, and
I'll do it.
you can definitely come and tell us anything that we need to know about anything that you are producing. So
All
for all
right.
you folks out there, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you being here. I will let Marlene go now. And remember, this is Monday Sucks. We have more guests that are going to come on. You talked about the whiskey. If you're here, make sure you click that notification button. Make sure you click every Monday. We are here at 7:30, and once a month I do put out a review on a whiskey that I like. Make sure you follow Hood Sommelier here on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and even on TikTok. Sometime I come and create mayhem on the internet. For you guys that are here right now, I appreciate you guys watching. As usual, make sure you support the channel by sharing this thing with your friends. The goal is for us to grow this community here on YouTube. I'm trying my best to stay away from Instagram and move more towards YouTube so we can actually have more conversations here. But if you're here this Monday, this was Milam and Greene. We had a chance to actually talk to them. And um, next week I may have another guest on. We need confirmation, but if you follow me on Instagram, remember the next 3 Wednesdays I actually have guests that are coming on where we're going to talk more Scotch. Remember, I don't limit myself to any spirit. I talk about all spirits, and I have a nice surprise from you for you guys. So if you follow me, make sure you click the button, turn the notification button out, and if you want to support me, make sure you check out my Patreon, which is Patreon/Hoodsome, to learn about the classes that I offer, to learn about the barrel picks that I do for my Patreon. Again, until next time, remember, love people first and whiskey second. Cheers.